You're listening to the Talk is Jeep podcast, a discussion of everything and anything related to Jeep life. These conversations are recorded live, and the opinions stated here have not been checked for sobriety. Now, here are your hosts, Art Aldrich and Tom Chartrand.
Here's to everybody enjoying their Sunday morning.
Right. It's
frigid Sunday morning.
It is. I don't know what the temperature is up where you are. I know for me, it's about a real feel of 10 degrees.
About the same, 20, and probably a real feel of about 15. So
yes,
we'll be keeping Julius in the garage today.
So yes, today we're talking about your Jeep build. You've named your Jeep Julius. You were out yesterday, I believe, filming some stuff.
We were in the wind. Yeah, we were out by the beach in the wind. As a reminder that Julius is a beach Jeep before a trail Jeep, as will be a reminder throughout my description of my TJ. My Jeep story starts back when my kids were little, and it started as a 1986 Toyota 4Runner, and that was my first foray into four-wheeling. And I would take the kids out to Nauset Beach in Orleans. I live here on Cape Cod, and I really only got started with a Jeep in 2002 when I got my first TJ. It was a 01 Wrangler X, a black one, and I couldn't find any pictures, but the kids were super little, and that became our beach Jeep, and that brought my son all the way through high school. And I remember the day that we trashed it. It was rusted out from all the beach time, and I didn't have another one until COVID hit. And we had talked about Jeeps. I had done a jamboree with you, like we spoke about. We took your JL down to the Tennessee mountains, and I was ready to buy a Jeep on site until I got home, and my wife talked some sense into me, and we went looking for a Jeep, and I found one. I searched the internet, obviously couldn't really go shopping for one, and found a great guy down in South Carolina who fixed up old Jeeps, and found a beautiful 03 Sahara, because I really wanted to have a two-door TJ, and flew down, brought it home, and Julius was born. And Julius is just one of my favorite Fish songs. We're Fish heads. And to me, it's like the ultimate driving song. It's just got the beat, it's got everything. And so we decided to call it Julius, and outfitted it as such. But my whole scheme was to keep the Wrangler as close, not to stock, but keep it looking as OEM as I could. We did a few modifications. The gentleman I bought it from in South Carolina put a 4-inch spring lift on it, Terraflex Falcon, and we're on the beach yesterday, and we decided to take it down to our favorite spot. We love to go and look at sunsets down there when the sun is out, but it was a very gray, cloudy day, and but there's Julius, light khaki, and what you'll see from the video here is it's got the LED lights, it's got the Smitty short bumpers on it, it's got a Smitty built winch, and we've kept it as close to the Jeep look as we can. Kept it mostly body color. If it's not black, then it's light khaki. So I've got 33-inch Goodyears on it. I can't remember the make, but of the rims, the wheels that are on it. But originally it had 35s, and to me that was a little bit too big. So I put 33s on, and it's served us really well for what we do. Hi there, Am. And I put some whited out little accessory modifications, like the whited out lights. So if it's not black gold, it's white. And any real modifications I've done to it have been after we've been on a Jeep Jamboree and I've broken something. So I've busted tie rod, and most of the work has been underneath. So I've outfitted it with some. That was one where I took a real big hit on a rock. Thank you for capturing that. I think that was in Killington when we did that one.
Yes, that was
Yeah, that was
Killington.
up in Killington. That is my beach Jeep Angel there. She reminds me that it's to be ridden on a beach, and that's where we do love it. We love it out there. That's Sandy Neck, which is one of the beaches that we go to. That's the backside looking over the marsh, and Nauset Beach, where we go out to quite a bit. But I've got some, skid plates underneath. I've, brought up the things that I've broken, the tie rod and things like that with more heavy duty stuff. So really the only severe modifications are just, securing it underneath. Got the JKS disconnects right there. The license plate is Julius. Your End is the Road is another Fish song called Possum. And really, I'm not as technical, so a lot of it was done when I got it. But I've gotten some of the Terraflex, the diff boxes to just to heavy duty it up when it does take a hit, it can survive it. I really like these rockers here. It's a short step. They're removable, and it works out well. Melissa's not super tall, so she can grab that and get in, and it does give a level of protection, not super protection underneath, but it's been good for what we put it through. And those I can't remember, but I can provide that. I did make a badge for it. It was not trail rated, but as you can see, it's beach rated, as is a constant reminder. And those are the wheels. And so it's really lightly modified, and everything is Rugged Ridge. It does have a aftermarket top on it. That's Rugged Ridge, and some of the stuff inside is as well. And those are the fish adornments that we have for it. Constant reminder. People are always honking and waving and doing that. Inside, it's very basic stuff. There's a MagSafe charger, and it works great. It does not. I've never had the phone fall off it when we've been on the trail. I do everything through the stock radio with a little FM converter, and it sounds great. I can take calls on it, charge a second phone. Driven by design, a little bit of an extender for storage that I have on the front. It fits in there really well. Like I said, everything's fairly stock. I've got a bikini top that I leave up all year round on the roll bar, and that's colored like the vehicle as well. And we just love it. And that's pretty much my Jeep story.
when you were looking to purchase your Jeep,
Yeah.
what, because you said you went to, a guy was in South Carolina,
Right.
but it probably wasn't your intention to find the Jeep from South Carolina. Just tell me about that process of looking for your Jeep. Like, what was your criteria? What did you find locally? Like, why did you go down to South Carolina for this Jeep? Like, talk about that, the backstory a bit.
Sure, sure. Well, we had met somebody on the trail in Tennessee, and he had a really nicely outfitted Rubicon. I think it was an '01, and the price was a little bit up there. So really, the price of the Jeep, capability, and when I ran across this guy who was modifying old Jeeps, he would buy them, sell them, fix them with his son, and somebody I found on Facebook. I won't put his name out there right now, but number one, there wasn't much available. It was during COVID. We had decided, since we always take a trip, that there weren't going to be, we didn't know what the story was going to be. So, we decided we'd like to get another Jeep and at least get to the beach, as that's, again, I said that would be the tale of the story. When I was looking for a Jeep, I wanted something that was trail rugged, but the reminder was we're going to spend most of our time on the beach with it. So that was sort of the criteria. I ran across this guy. We did a FaceTime walkthrough, um, showing the car. He had built it up from, he had bought it from somebody who was a senior citizen. And, he and his son put it together. And the price was right. So we decided that this was going to be the Jeep if it performed well, and all that. He had taken it on not a jamboree, but on a trail ride, and sent me all the recordings of it. It was an unorthodox purchase, but number one, I was looking forward to the possibility of getting something that had always been driven down south, that wasn't exposed to salt air, salt water, and all that. And that was going on 4 years now, and I've got close to 90,000 miles on it, and really no rust to speak of, which I'm super happy about. In fact, when I bought it from him and he found out I was driving it back up north, he said, "Not New England," because he knew it was going to, be exposed to the elements.
Now
And
you haven't put 90,000 miles on it yourself, have you?
no, when I got it,
No.
I
Okay.
think I have put about 25. I think it had somewhere in the 60s on it at the time, but we put a lot of miles on it. And it gets a bath every time it comes in from the beach, and it has held up really, really well. We're super happy with it.
Yeah, as you say, your beach Jeep, but like what would be your next mod? Let's just take normal life restrictions out of the way. Is there something that you'd like to do to the Jeep that you haven't done yet? Or I know you said if you break something, that's very common. When I break something, I usually make it better. But is there something you'd like to
Right.
do to the Jeep that you haven't done for various reasons?
I mean, all restrictions off, it would be great to have lockers on it, um, front or back, so something that would give it the ability to perform a little bit better on the trail. Um, that would be number two. Number one would be uh, better tires, something that could be a mud and snow type of tire rather than the all terrain. Something that would grip a little bit better, and so something that could get me up and over things a little more strategically, and just on a whim, it would be great to have those cameras like you have, because they are awesome to see what's in front of you, be able to see the rocks that you're climbing over, and some of the ones that might crunch on the way down. So ultimately, those would be the kind of things that I would love to do, but I love it being a relatively clean stock look. So I think that's probably where I want to have things, because we just love it as it is. It's just a fun Jeep, and those would be the tires, lockers, and I think that's it.
It's a modest Jeep. It's a it's not
It
over the
is, yeah.
top. It's clean. Um, have you like I know most of the work I did on my Jeep, I didn't trust myself to do too much mechanically. I mean,
Right.
I don't even have a garage. Like you have a garage at least. I mean, I have a garage. It's just full of video gear. I can't even get a vehicle in there.
And meat, video gear and meat.
Yeah, video gear and meat. But has there been stuff that you would like to do yourself that like mechanically to it that you'd consider, under circumstances or
Ultimately, I don't trust myself. I'm not that all knowing and knowledgeable about cars. An immediate thing I'd love to do is I'd love to, on the Smitty winch, there's two little areas there where I could put some LED lights. I would love to do that. To put some LEDs, learn a little bit about wiring, and have that. So that would be a third minor upgrade that I'd love to do myself, is just put a couple of LEDs right there, just for driving at night when we're at the beach in the summertime. Sunset hits, it's a little bit dark, and that would be nice to have. So I'm not, um, you know, hurting for that. But I'd like to learn how to do that kind of stuff. But I let the free market work. We've got a great shop, specialized truck in Yarmouth. they do all my work, and they're great. They check it out once a year, get it all going, ready for whatever punishment you pull me into.
Well, my first Jeep, I tried to off-road it, not knowing anything, at
Right.
age 18, buried it up to the doors in a mud hole, had to be, towed out by rescue tow. And that was my first off-road experience, not knowing, anything.
Right.
And then okay, at that time there were still print magazines. There was Four Wheel and Off Road
Right.
and Four Wheeler. So I started reading those and trying to find, oh, I can do this to my Jeep. I could buy this part. I could. So the first thing I did was put a winch on, you know,
Right.
and again, not being like
Pull
super
yourself out of trouble.
automotive. Well, not being super automotive technical. Like that was something that was like a bolt on that I felt like I could manage, and I did it. It wasn't, I remember like, one of the bolts, wasn't going in straight. I think it was held in by
Right.
three instead of four. But those are things that happen when you're, as they say, a shade tree mechanic. And I think I personally feel like, okay, I did put some things onto my Jeep, this, current Jeep. Like I did some of the work. I did the bumpers and things like that, or at least the front bumper
Right.
and the winch and the, some of the bits like that. Things that going at highway speed, if I fucked it up, wouldn't be
You'd be all right.
catastrophic. How's Julius been mechanically as a 2003 Jeep, just as a Jeep, as a vehicle?
Has been fantastic. I've had very little maintenance that I've had to do to it. As many, TJ owners will say after time, the check engine light is on and it stays on. I think it's a sensor or something, but it has been flawless mechanically. I haven't knock on some particle board here. Have never had to do any special work to it. We're getting up there in the mileage side of things, and I'm just doing routine maintenance, change the oil, and it is really held up well throughout time. So I've got to say that we've been really lucky. But those engines, just if you take care of them, everybody says you take care of them, keep it clean, keep the oil changing, you really have very little that you need to do. I mean, really, the main thing that drives us crazy is the heater blower doesn't work until you get to the third notch. So you got to have it blasting all the time. So really, it's just the heater fan might need a replacement, but that's the only thing I've been through. And I hope that's all that I have to go through.
How's the cabin comfort in Julius?
I, we're not super picky. The Sahara model had a little bit nicer seats than what they used to be. You'll attest to the fact that the clutch is really hard to drive. It's not like one of the newer. It's a very bumpy ride. It's
It
very
is a heavy
stiff,
clutch. It's a very
super
heavy
heavy
clutch.
clutch. I've actually brought it in after you drove it, and the guy's like, "No, it's the best I've ever seen a TJ." I'm like, "No, I think something's wrong with it." He's like, "No, no, no, it's a TJ." But no, it's comfortable. We keep the back seat out of it, so it's really storage. We've got backpack in there, a grill, beach chairs. We've got a portable bathroom tent that we put up on the beach. It's all outfitted so you can spend all day and into the night, at the beach. Tables, chair, like everything is really outfitted for being able to take it out, spend the day away, and in that sense, it's been a real performer.
Anyway, I want to remind people
Right.
who may be watching this or listening to this, we will be live on YouTube Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. We'll usually announce it. It's not going to be every week. We're going to try to be more regular.
Right.
This is our second episode of January, so we're ahead of last
That's
year.
good.
we're, we're ahead of last year. But the idea behind the live part is to encourage people to participate. And if you want to participate, you can drop us an email, talkisjeeppodcast@gmail.com. We have an Instagram handle, which is at Talk is Jeep Show. Is that correct?
Yes, that's it.
And
Talk is Jeep Show.
on Twitter at Talk is Jeep Show as well. There's a Facebook page called Talk is Jeep Show, or just maybe Talk is Jeep. So you can reach out, you can say, hey, I've got a cool Jeep and want to talk about it. But the idea is to have this be
Right.
a conversation. So if you are catching this
So
on a replay, we want to encourage you to check out the YouTube page at Talk is Jeep Show, and you'll see the
and we'd love to
schedule.
hear your stories as well. I mean, definitely want to get folks involved. Send us some
Yes.
pictures and we'll put them up. We'd love to hear your Jeep stories, whether they're extreme or it's a beach Jeep or it's your daily driver, whatever you love about your Jeep. In fact, when I was doing yesterday's drone session with Julius, a friend of ours drove up and we told him about the Talk is Jeep show. He's probably going to check us out and he wants to take part. He doesn't have a Jeep now, but 20 years ago he had a CJ5 and told us a story about how he drove out to Chicago with four people in the Jeep and that it was in a wedding. And we're like, tell us your story. That's pretty crazy story to, be that committed to a CJ5 and drive it to Chicago. Everybody's got some kind of funky story and we'd love to hear it.
Right. Also, speaking of that, we do have a voicemail box which you can call into, and if you want to leave us a message on that, it's 802-441 Jeep. 802-441-5337. You can leave a voicemail there. No one's going to answer, but you can leave a message, and we might use that message on the podcast or on the live stream. So again, we're encouraging people to get involved. We're definitely seeing good views on the replays. We're trying to make it more conversational. So the idea is get involved on the live stream on YouTube Sundays. And it's a thing when you have a custom plate, when you have a theme, if you will, to your vehicle. It doesn't matter if it's a Jeep or not, but
Yep.
if you're a fish fan, I don't know if fish fans and Rush fans are in the same minority level or not. Rush is very obscure to most mainstream people. So when someone pulls up beside me and gives me the thumbs up or gives me some kind of hey, I get it, you're a Rush fan, that's awesome. I
Right.
love that. Do you get that with Julius, and what's that like for you?
Totally. So when we were coming home, I think from Killington, and obviously Vermont is where Fish is from. There's a lot of people that are Fish fans, and
Is that
the
obvious?
red donut. It is obvious, yeah. Of course it is.
Okay. Let me make a note of that. Fish from Vermont. Okay.
Yeah. Fish from Vermont, the Fish from Vermont. That's what that's a long name for the band. But, we saw somebody that had a license plate. They saw our plate and they got it. But what really catches people's eye is the license plate frame with the red donuts on it. They call them the donuts. That's kind of their signature. And I've got a big donut on the one side of my car. So many times I'll get a honk when someone's going by me and just pointing to that. They get the red donuts being Fish. So, and it is cool. It's cool to get that noticed when people are fans. We'll be at the beach, someone will give a thumbs up when they look at it, sometimes because of the Jeep, and sometimes it's because you're a Fish fan because you see the donut on their car too. So it's cool.
Anyway, we'll give the computer a rest. It's working hard, and we'll see.
Which one are you on right now?
This is the M1 Max on Ventura. Okay. All right, Tom. We will discuss Jeeps again. We'll have a future broadcast soon, and thanks for sharing, Julius.
Sounds good.